This Take 5 is called Reducing Emails and Questions, and what it's about is reducing the amount of especially email traffic, but also telephone traffic you have with your class. Now, the technique I'm talking about was developed for large classes, but it's equally applicable to small ones. It also is just as applicable to distance and internal classes. Techniques for reducing emails and questions. I teach some relatively large classes, and I've always found that even though that involves quite a bit of marking, quite a bit of actual teaching, the thing that really takes up my time and can be very, very frustrating is the number of questions from students, especially by email, and as well the fact that a lot of these questions are repetitive. You get the same question asked maybe 20 or 30 times during the course of the term from different students. So I think part of the problem is that we have set up our student sites, our Moodle sites, as one-stop shops for our students. They go to that site for their course, and that site includes links. And those links are to things like IT help, assessment submission, links to policies, requests for extensions, guides to study. Very helpful links indeed. Therefore, if a student wants some information, they go there, and if they can't find it on the Moodle site, it's rather likely they're going to email their lecturer. And that is what I've found. If you've got a large class, and I had a class of over 350 in term 3, 2013, I was getting 40 to 50 emails per day. And as I said, a lot of these showed a great deal of redundancy. So how on earth do you reduce the sheer volume of questions by email and also by telephone? Well, interestingly, I've taught the same class for the last 5 years, and in 2013, compared to 2009, my class size has gone up. So the class size has done this. Now, that's about 350. I deliberately haven't put a scale on that. The number of email questions and phone calls from students have done this. They've kept in, this is a different scale, but they've kept in step with the class size until 2013 and 2012, when they did this. Boom! That is, they went down. One possibility might be that my students just simply didn't want to email or phone me up, but I think that's unlikely, especially since they gave very good feedback on the Moodle site. But in 2012, I did something deliberately to try and reduce the amount of traffic, and it was something very simple indeed, and what I call it is the Kate Ames strategy. Kate Ames, as I think probably everybody knows, is a member of staff at CQ. A few years ago I went to a talk by Kate, and Kate talked about her way of reducing just the sort of frustrating traffic I'm talking about. The Kate Ames strategy. Credit where credit's due. Her strategy was very simple indeed. It was to put up on her Moodle site a list of frequently asked questions, FAQs. So I gave it a whirl, because she said she thought it was quite effective. Now, the way I did my frequently asked questions was I used the student inquiries as a basis for constructing FAQs. If a student asked me about something about an exam, I would put that question down and give the answer on the Moodle side. So in 2012 I had a list of frequently asked questions, and they were ready to roll over into 2013. In 2013 the list of frequently asked questions got larger again and will be rolled over into 2014. You may say, now come on Steve, this sounds pretty simple. Yes, it is simple, but you will be slightly surprised, I think, by the level of the questions I provide. I will show you what I've done. Great, that is the Moodle site for BIOH 12008 in Term 3, 2013. Anyone can look at this site. You're most welcome to, of course. Now, sitting right at the top of the Moodle site is a welcome message. You'll notice there's a link to a course profile, even though there's a link to a course profile on the left. No harm in having lots of information. And then I've got something saying all the information you'll need, including links to video streams, assignment, and frequently asked questions, is in the section below. Click on the section heading to open it. So, frequently asked questions. You will say, hey, come on, Steve, where is my study guide? That is a question I was so often asked. Even though it says in the course profile there's no residential school, I got lots of emails saying, is there a residential school? Are there on-campus lectures? Where do I upload my essay? Heavens above! All right, have a look on the Moodle site if you like. It goes on and on and on. Even questions which result in great heartache. I handed up my essay late, and after the marked essay had been returned to the other students, I didn't have an extension. Will my essay still be marked? Well, no, it won't. So therefore, if a student is browsing the frequently asked questions early in the term, they realise they'll never be able to get away with that sort of behaviour. Goes on and on. But sitting down at the bottom, I even have questions like, how do I access my personal exam schedule? Because I was getting a lot of questions from students, where and when is the exam? I didn't know. I referred them to their personal exam schedule. And then I got the question, well, how do I access that? So I gave them the link. How about this one? The examination timetable only gives one date for the exam. Does this apply to all CQ campuses? This was from a distant student. Well, yes, it does. We sit the exam on the same day, obviously. But then I got a question. I live in Western Australia. The exam is scheduled for 9 o'clock Queensland time. Do I have to turn up at 7? So I put that in my subsequent list of questions. I have, how do I apply for a deferred exam? I've got a link to the deferred exam page. I've got information about special consideration and withdrawal without academic penalty. You will say, that is gross overkill, that is gross spoon feeding, but they are the questions I'm sure many people watching this will say that they get. I even included frequently asked questions about the exam. That was because we had some students enrolled cross-institutionally, and they used to ask some quite interesting questions as well. Now, I need to find a really good one here. Can I use a medical dictionary? Well, you can't. And when I said no to several students about that, and it's in the course profile and exam information, they came back, well, can I use a standard dictionary instead? No, you can't. So I've put both of those. There's a here we go, somewhere. I can't find it, but I'll tell you what it is. Can I write my exam in pencil? Doesn't bother me as long as you can read it. Now, that is a lot of information, but I think it has grossly reduced the number of inquiries I've got, and students in their feedback have also said those frequently asked questions are great. They've reduced the necessity to talk to the lecturer. When in a section called Contacting Your Lecturer, I've even got, before contacting your lecturer, please check the list. The answer may already be there. All right. The Kate Ames strategy. Now, my inquiries have gone down, my feedback score has gone up. There you go, student satisfaction. Do I know it's because I adopted the Kate Ames strategy that the amount of traffic has gone down? No, I don't, obviously, because it's confounded in time, but it's the most plausible explanation at the moment, so I'm certainly going to keep doing it. Furthermore, on my Moodle site, I direct students to that list of frequently asked questions, and the last thing I've done is I have made my Moodle site as comprehensive as possible. There's a link to the course profile in the welcome message. Yes, I know there's a link on the left, but I have found that students don't seem to read the stuff on the left and the right, the stuff running down the sides of the screen. It's a bit like those advertisements at the sides of websites. You ignore them entirely, you just cut to the chase in the middle. So I've put that sort of thing in the middle. One more example, general assessment information. I give 2 links to the course profile in the very same section, and I've got other links elsewhere on the site. I don't think it does any harm to overkill in leading people to where the information is. Now, one final comment. I'll go back to the big screen for that. I was talking about this to my colleagues a couple of weeks ago, and they said, oh yeah, you know, frequently asked questions, and some have had a look at my Moodle site and saying, boy, Steve, you know, you're really spoon-feeding there. Well, yes, but hopefully people will, once they know where those links are, use those and stop requesting information. But what if you get a question that's not on the list? Well, that's an easy one. You create another frequently asked question. What if you get a question that is on the list? It's on the list. Sounds like I'm describing the Titanic on the way down. Oh, that was terrible, sorry. A question that's on the list. A couple of my colleagues said, oh, well, what I say to them is, go to the Moodle site. And one person said, well, sometimes I get asked a question that another student has already answered on a discussion board. So I just say to the student back on email, go to the discussion board. Now, I don't think that is actually very helpful, because if you're looking at a website, you don't know where the information is, let's say a large government website or a large private organisation like Telstra, if you emailed for help and they said, oh, go look on our website, the place you haven't got the information from already, or, oh, go look at, you know, the discussion about, that would not help me very much at all. So what I do is I actually answer the question back. I tell them what the answer is, but I also put a little screenshot of the frequently asked question, which is relevant to that. I just paste that into the email, just one of those little purple bits from the Moodle site that gives the answer to the question as well. Now, what I'm really doing there is I'm saying to the student, hey, it's on the frequently asked questions, and I say from the frequently asked questions. So often those students then email me back and say, oh, hell, Steve, I'm sorry, I didn't look, but I'll look in future. So that is pretty much a learning process. Now, again, you might say, gee, Steve, you're a real big softie here, but there's nothing more frustrating, I find, than trying to get information from a website and someone says, oh, go look on the website. So there you go. My traffic is down. I think it's because of the stuff I'm doing that is simple indeed. Thank you.